Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
And I want to share my story of how I became an author. It was 5:45 on a Monday afternoon when I got a call from my husband's office that they had put my own one on there. I went to the hospital and the doctor said that he just had a minor heart attack, that he would go home the next day. But within a few hours, things drastically changed. His body started shutting down, and he didn't.
Lynn,
Yes.
there is some interference. You are freezing. It's almost as if your Wi-Fi connection isn't right.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to restart your computer. I'm going to just hold and restart your computer and come back in.
Okay.
Set the sound and everything. So we're going to have a small commercial break. And while we're waiting for Lynn to come back, I'm going to talk to you guys about the upcoming Her Story Online Summit. So we are going to be having a summit on the 21st to the 31st of August, so this week. And every single day, we're going to have some incredible speakers from all over the world sharing their stories. We will have 3 speakers in each panel telling a personal story, and then we'll have a panel discussion with the speakers before the next 3 speakers come on. So I'm really excited to share with you an amazing lineup of some of the most incredible women I've ever met who are talking about business and entrepreneurship, health and wellness, family and relationships, creativity, social justice, spirituality, and diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So we try to bring our community together through these online summits. Doing it online breaks down all of the limitations of the borders, and it's really exciting to bring this community of women together, share their inspiration with us. It looks like Lynn is coming back in. We'll give her a few minutes and we'll see if we can take off again. Hopefully her sound will have corrected itself. It's always challenging with these online platforms to get it right. But here goes take 2. Welcome back, Lynn.
Hi, how are you, Gertrude?
It has sorted out the problem. We should have thought of that earlier. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to start again. I'll do my introduction so we can edit this nicely for you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. My next guest is coming to us all the way from the United States. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
It was a 5:45 on a Monday when I got a call from my husband's office that they had called 911 on him. At first, the doctor said it was just a minor heart attack and he would be home the next day. But then within a few hours, everything changed. His body started to shut down and they moved him to ICU. Now, Don had always been clear. He didn't want to live here if he couldn't live the life he wanted. So in the end, I followed his wishes. I stood by his bed as they turned off the machines. The love of my life was gone. I stood there as he took his final breath. I was in shock, completely broken and devastated. I thought, how could I be a widow at 48? Then, just 3 weeks later, life gave another blow. My daughter and I were standing in the driveway as we watched our house completely engulfed in flames, all due to a faulty power strip. We had to move out, which meant that I could not grieve in the comfort of my own home. With all this loss and chaos, I fell into a deep depression. I knew that to heal, I had to feel all going to be able to live without Dawn. I didn't know how I was going to survive. But then months later, I woke up with a realization that I was the one who was creating my own misery. That to heal, I needed to start living again, if not for myself, then for my daughter, because I really did not want her to grow up with a mother who was always sad. So I started writing to process everything that had happened and my grief. But soon those writings turned into something else. They turned into a love letter to Dawn and a way to release everything that had happened. But then I had with Dawn and the life we share, the bond with I had with my daughter, and that our love still remained. So instead of concentrating on everything I lost, I started to look for the good. That's when all my writings became my first book, Wake Up, Change Up, Rise Up. And I realized that all this loss had led me into a new path. Here's what I've learned from that everyone has unexpected events. And it's not what happens to us, it's how we deal with it and use it for the good. Two, grief doesn't follow a schedule. It's going to pop its ugly head up anytime it wants to. And three, peace comes when we stop fighting against firm reality and wishing things could be different. When we learned acceptance and to accept what is, that's where we can find peace. So my story isn't just about loss. It's about remembering that even in heartbreak, there are many blessings. And I want you to know that if I can rebuild my life, then so can you. Thank you.
Wow. Lynn, you have been through so much, and it's amazing what you've managed to do with your life after so many tragedies. Now, I know that you often say that the stories we repeat shape the lives we live. Can you expand on this idea?
Yes, I think our mindset and the stories we've told ourselves really are the number one, if not one of the most important things that creates our life, because whatever we think is what is the reality of the life we're going to live. So if we keep telling ourselves, oh, tomorrow's going to be a bad day, or, I can't do this and stuff like that, we are really disempowering ourselves. So we need to flip the script and use words and beliefs that are more empowering to us.
That is so true. And sometimes it's something simple, something really basic. I remember when I first moved to New Zealand, it was raining all the time, just raining all the time. And it got quite depressing, coming out of Africa where you have a lot of sunshine.
Mhm.
But we used to have a lot of droughts in Zimbabwe. So I just started saying it's only water. And it's amazing. I ended up living for 25 years in Wellington and loving the rain and the wind. But it's
Mhm.
about reframing and being very mindful of the words that we use. We create our reality through our words, right?
We absolutely do. And so, you know, a lot of it is unconscious, or from our subconscious, because we repeat something like up to 90% of the stuff we thought about yesterday. Most of our thoughts are repetitive and they come from our subconscious and we don't even realize we do it. So first we have to become aware. That's the number one thing, is once we become aware, then we can make the changes. And it doesn't mean beating yourself up that if, I have bad thoughts, because we always do, because our brains are negative bias from ancient days when we were afraid that we were going to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or something like that. So we need to be kind to ourselves when we speak to ourselves and not be so harsh. But if we can reframe it and revise it even just a little bit better, we will start to live better.
That is so true. Now, how did navigating grief and burnout change your perspective on success?
That we don't have to um, I think we don't have to be on 24/7. That, when I was younger, I used to brag, "Oh my gosh, I worked 70 hours this week." Well, that's really not healthy. I mean, our
Mm.
bodies and our brains need time to rejuvenate, and if we don't give ourselves that, then we're going to get sick. I remember one time I worked for 3 months straight without a day off, and I got the flu because my body and my mind were just drained.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and success isn't what other people think success is. You need to make your own definition of what success is to you. For some people, it's being a mom. For others, it might be being a caregiver of their parents, or it
yes,
might be working in a job or volunteering something in their passion. And it doesn't mean that we have to pick just one. I think we can have numerous passions and numerous roles,
yeah.
but we do need to give ourselves downtime to rejuvenate our bodies.
Mm. So, what was the turning point when you realized that you needed to wake up, change up, and rise up?
I think it came about, I would say, about 4 or 5 months after Donna died. I woke up one morning and I realized that I needed to start living again. I actually made a conscious decision that I needed to start looking for the good. So when I would go on a walk, I would appreciate a hummingbird that was next to me, or maybe the clouds in the sky. It's really the simple things that we have in life. If we can savor those, then we will find gratitude. And really, gratitude was my key to my healing. That's how I came out of grief, was appreciating what I had.
Mm, I love that. It's the small things.
It really is. It really is.
So, why do you believe that mindset is the most powerful influence in how we live our lives?
Because I think it sets us up for either success or failure. So if you're constantly berating yourself for saying, I can't do it, I'm too old, somebody else has more education than I have, then we're never going to live maybe why we're here to start with. And I
Yeah.
think our mindset determines how every day we live. If we wake up and we say, "Oh, today's just going to be another day," well, what are we going to get? We're going to get, "Oh, today's was just another day." But if we
Mhm.
can wake up and say, I'm going to do my best today. I'm going to find joy. I'm going to do something that makes me happy. Just looking for little things, even if it's just doing something for a minute or two, can really change your life. It's really our mindset that determines how we live.
Yeah, it's everything.
Hmm.
It runs everything. So many people resist acceptance. How do you coach others to embrace what is without giving up hope?
Um, I think you have to, and it's not like after Dawn died, there was no way I was going to accept what is, right? I was bargaining with God and doing all those grief traits that they say that you go through all the different levels. But there's got to be a point where you have to say, you can't change the past.
No.
You can only accept today and move forward. So it's doing little things of understanding that you may not like what life has presented to you, but you do have it within your power to change it, to embrace it, and become your best self.
Mm. Yeah, that's so true. So, what are some practical steps to flip negative self talk into empowering self talk? Really
Um,
difficult sometimes because as human beings, we say things to ourselves that we would never say to a best friend or to anyone else. We rarely bash ourselves in.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if you start talking negatively to yourself, if you could take a step back and just look at it and say, would I say this to my best friend? Well, if you wouldn't, then that's a big sign that you need to revise it. But it's revising it in little ways. You can't go from I'm completely sad or whatever to happy. You have to make little steps along the way. So one of my favorite words is yet, Y-E-T. I haven't done it yet. When you use yet, it's not, you're accepting that you haven't been able to do whatever you're going to do, but you just haven't done it yet. And I think that's empowerment without belittling yourself, that I can't do it. I can't do it yet, or
Yes.
whatever it is. I love the word yet.
Oh, I love that. That's a really nice way to
It
look at
really
it.
is.
Yeah. So, reinvention can feel overwhelming. Where should someone start when life feels like it's just all falling apart?
I think if you have to accept what's going on, and you have to feel your emotions. I don't think you should hide them, but
Yeah.
once you've started to process that, and even maybe even the beginning stages, if you can find one little thing you're grateful for, that it can lessen stress and make you feel a little more grateful. So even if it's just like taking a sip of your tea or coffee in the morning and savoring that, or I made the green light, and or I found a good parking place, just little things. And the more you can do that, the more you can reinvent yourself, and your self-talk will start to be looking for the good things. I know from my own experience, when I started seeking the good, more good would come to me,
Yes.
because it's whatever's in our awareness, whatever we focus on, that's what we bring back to us.
Oh, I love that. That is so true. Now, can you share a personal story of transformation that deeply shaped your work? Could be a case study or something that you did for yourself.
Um, you know, when Dawn had passed away, my daughter's school, she had to do service hours at like a soup kitchen.
Hmm.
And so every Friday for 2.5 hours, we'd go serve the food. We would clean up the dishes, clean the bathrooms, sweep the floor, mop the floor, whatever needed to be done, we did for those 2.5 hours. And that was so healing and transformative for me, because
Mm,
for those 2.5 hours, not only was I helping someone else that made me feel good, but no one knew my story. No one knew my house had burned. No one knew I had lost my husband. So for that short amount of time, I could just be Lynn. I
okay.
didn't I didn't have I didn't have people looking at me with those sad eyes or whatever, asking, "How are you doing?" and stuff like that. I mean, that was a big transformation that greatly influenced my healing.
Right. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Now, how can leaders balance resilience with vulnerability during challenging times?
I think honesty is a big thing, and also to be open. It doesn't mean you have to share all your emotions, but when you're open to what's going on, then I think that um, the people that you lead will connect with you better and will follow you. But I
Yeah.
also think it's about listening to them too. I
Right.
had heard one time, you have two ears and one mouth, use it in that proportion.
Yes, yes. I love that, 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Uh-huh.
That's true, listening more and speaking less.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
And it's
sometimes.
also for a leader, I think it's asking what legacy do you want to leave?
Yeah.
How do you want to better your people's lives? How do you want the public to view you? If you were to leave that job tomorrow, what would be the best thing that people could say about you?
Mhm. So, so true. We forget that, when you exit, you leave a trail, and it had better be a good one.
It better be, because they're going to talk about you either way. Mhm.
So what advice would you give someone who's currently feeling grief or burnout right now?
Well, I would say for them to sit in their grief. And I went to a therapist. I think if you can find the right therapist, therapy really is a blessing.
Mm,
But even if you can't, maybe talk to a trusted friend, somebody you can trust. But I think instead of bottling up, if you can open up what's going on,
yeah,
then every time you open up and you share your story, I think it releases a little of the burden you've been carrying.
yeah, yeah, that's so true. Bit by bit.
Mhm. And to know that there's no timeline on grief. I mean, some people might get over something quickly and others it might take years. You have to be patient with yourself and move at your own speed, not what others expect you to do.
Yeah, I remember reading a book when my mother died, because mom died during COVID, and it said something like, our emotions are like your children. When they come to you, sit with them for a while. Don't push the feelings away. I
Mhm.
think when you try and push the feelings away, they come back even more, right?
They come back even more. My daughter's a good example of that. She bottled. I was so depressed after my husband died that she
Mm,
held up herself and bottled emotions inside her self, and then eventually those came out. My therapist says, they're going to come out one time or another, so you either deal with it now or you deal with it later.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, you have to sit with it, and the emotions pass through you. They're
Hmm.
not going to be there forever, and that's something else you have to realize, that they do pass through you. And when you move, you do something physical, it dispenses that horrible feeling. Keeping active, I found, was really good for me.
Yeah, everything's energy, right? So any type of movement is going to move that energy. For me, just taking a walk around the block or walking in nature is extremely healing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Being in nature is a big difference, makes a big difference. So, how do you integrate joy and purpose into daily practices, even during these difficult seasons?
Gratitude journaling is a big key. So, in the morning, I wake up and I say positive affirmations of how my day is going to go, what I expect from my day. And at nighttime, I do gratitude journaling. And that helps me to look for the good and to find joy. But it also makes me, I can take a look at that to see if I'm actually following my purpose. Um,
Right.
I think everybody should have a mission statement of some kind of what they want. Your mission statement, your purpose, your joy of whatever brings you joy should evolve with you. So it's okay to let some things go for new things to come in.
Yeah, I like the mission statement. It's like everything you do in life, just having that clear vision of where you're going with your life. That makes a
Yeah.
big difference.
It really does. And I really am a firm believer in vision boards too. If
Uh-huh.
sometimes putting, whether it's words or pictures and looking at it, is just a great reminder of what you want. Because you're going to get it. You just haven't done it yet.
Love that word. I'm not going to forget that very easily now. Yes. Oh, man. Now, as a two-time award-winning author, what do you hope our listeners, your readers, will take away from Wake Up, Change Up, Rise Up?
Well, the book starts, the first chapter is gratitude, and it's all about my losses that I experienced, but how I found gratitude for like neighbors and strangers I didn't know, the firemen who came and put the fire out to the at the house, the paramedics that took my husband to the hospital.
Yeah.
So it starts out that way, but then it goes into joy, it goes into meditation, it goes into affirmations in our mindset of, dropping the blame and shame that we give ourselves. It goes through loss. Then it goes, the end of it is more positive of how any kind of art is healing. Like writing for me was healing, and
Yeah.
dancing and laughter and all that stuff, that just these little things that really can bring big joy to our lives.
Yeah,
And
that's
if
beautiful.
anybody's going through struggles, it might give them some inspiration on, to go through it, or even connect with my story that they've gone through something similar.
Yeah, I love it. Now, if you could change one narrative that society tells people about failure, what would that be?
That failure is not a bad thing. I think failure can be a good thing, because when we learn what not to do, it's easier then for us to do something different. And I do think that sometimes failure is the universe telling us, you're going in the wrong direction. You need to take a different path. So when somebody fails, we shouldn't look at it as failure. We should look at it as, I made a mistake, or this thing didn't work. We should never say, I am a failure, because nobody is ever a failure. The
Mm,
things we do might fail, but we as people are not
no
failures.
failures. Oh, I like that. I do like that. My last two questions are a bit of a thought experiment, Lynn.
Okay.
In the one, I'm going to teleport you back to that younger woman who received this terrible news, didn't know what to do on that day. Just in case there's somebody who's listening to this podcast who might be going through a similar challenge, what three nuggets of wisdom would you tell her based on what you have experienced through life up until this point?
That nothing's going to last forever, that you can move through it in time and get to the other side. That two, there's always something to be grateful for, even just something really small like a text from a friend. And three, you're stronger than you to better our lives. And that's really what my purpose is for people to find their authentic selves and live a better life.
Absolutely beautiful. Last question is futuristic, and I'm going to teleport you into the future. And we are going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. And she is sitting in her rocking chair. Maybe she's on a dance floor somewhere, surrounded by her family. If you could teleport into the future to meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
I would say you are such a strong person, and that you were able to overcome so many different challenges, and all those little things you were stressing about weren't important. That really, our purpose here is really just to live authentically and to find joy in our lives, and to know that we are enough just as we are.
Fantastic. Lynn, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with our community today. I've got your website scrolling at the bottom of the screen. What other social media platforms do you play on where people can connect with you?
I am on LinkedIn and Instagram, so you can follow me there. And if you wanted a free gratitude journal, a little workbook, there's one on my website for free. You just have to go to lynnlok-payne.com and sign up.
Fantastic. And I know you're going to be one of our speakers during this online summit that's starting on the 21st. What day can people expect you to come back and share a bigger story?
I think I'm signed up for the 21st. I think it's the first day of the conference.
Okay. So that is the 21st in Australia and the 20th in the United States, correct?
Yes, correct. You almost had me there.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
Thank you so much, Gertrude. I appreciate you.
To have you as part of our tribe.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So if you are someone who is feeling stuck, who's going through grief, going through burnout, and you have no idea what to do next, here is somebody who has gone through that fire, has come out on the other side, and is now helping and empowering other people. Please reach out to Lynn. Don't try and do it alone. Or if you know somebody who's going through a challenge, please share this podcast. Spread it through your social media. We all know somebody who's going through a difficult time. And our jobs is to share this kind of content and bring some light at the end of the tunnel for someone else. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. And Lynn, thanks again for the interview.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you.